So when we combine the physical sensation of feeling along with our attention and with the breath, so we have body, breath, and mind are all brought to bear, are all in harmony. That's when we can achieve balance and openness and stability. And so we'll do that standing, moving, and sitting. And I want to remind everyone there will not be class a week from today because I'll be in Colorado. How about that? Visiting my grandson and also visiting with my teacher, my Qigong teacher, Ken Cohen, up in the mountains. So, but we will resume on May 8th, and I'll send an email out to everybody to remind them. Okay, so any questions or comments about any of that? All right, well, let's get started. Just the view, and we're recording. Okay. So you can adopt this movement just by twisting, focusing on turning the hips and dropping the weight. That's the main thing. And then the shoulders and the arms just sort of go along for the ride. And so we do this to increase the flexibility in the hips, to help move the lymph in the body, in the inguinal crease, and also in the armpits. And to practice, because we're basically standing on one foot when we do this. We're shifting from one foot to the other. And the weight's going 100% on the right and 0 on the left to 100% on the left and 0 on the right. So it's about balance too. So, and then you can get very excited about this and do it. Do it with more energy, if you like. See what effect that has. Okay, good. Or you can just do it gently. Okay, and starting at the top, stretch out the neck. If you feel some tension, go ahead and sort of stretch that area, just sort of hang out there and stretch out that particular muscle. So it'll feel tight, but after a little bit, it'll kind of let go. You know, and so tension is the precursor to pain. So if we can release the tension before it gets into pain, and then we can save ourselves the pain. And then, so we want to stay loose. And that'll help us to not only have range of motion, flexibility, but it'll help us to remain free of pain, or relatively free of pain, as much as we can. Okay. And I added some that I learned from Ken Cohen last or a couple times ago. So we're used to going down into this, which is good. But let's do the arms in this way. So this is kind of hyper extending, and then you're switching which one's on top. And this stretches out the triceps, which sometimes don't get used much. Okay, good. And then you can do the same thing up above. If you feel some tension when you're doing this, that means you've found a tight place and you're stretching it out. And then you can do it down low too. And there's a way to do it side to side. Let me see if I can get this. So I guess just do it on one side and then to do it on the other. So doing this from time to time is good, good for the arms and the shoulders. Okay, good. And when we go into this opening, when you might want to open your stance a little more and then sink down. A lot of these postures and movements are done in horse stance, it's a martial arts stance, uh, and then you're engaging the thighs too. And then you can sort of sit down, and then as you open, stand up, and then sit down. And then do it with your breath, of course. And if you've practiced opening the 7 gates, if you slow this down a bit, you can open all 7 gates by opening the 4th one. You have to do it more slowly, though. So it's not that we close the gates. It's not that we open them and then we close them. It's that we open them and then we just relax and then repeat. But this has to be slowed down if you're engaging all 7. Okay, and now the breath practice with this. So as you breathe in, you visualize breathing right into the heart from the front. And then breathe out the heart from the front. And then visualize breathing into the heart from the back. And then out. And then eventually then breathe right through. So breathe in from the front, right through, and then breathe out the front. So just let the wind, the breath, move right through the heart from the front, through it, right through the back and right through the front. And then move with the breath. Okay, let's just do a couple more. And if you get into these breath practices and breathing into certain areas from certain directions, of course, you can do that with most of these movements. And you can use top of the head, bottoms of the feet, front, back, all around. Any of those breath practices can apply to any of the movements. Okay, next one, rocking the pelvis. And again, if you sense a tiny bit of pain or tightness, that's okay. If you're having more pain, then don't do it. But just doing this once a week, this is really beneficial. And then this one too. And then however many you do one direction, and do that many the other direction. And you can engage the whole body in this if you want to. Or you can just focus on this one area. So these balance exercises were taught by Trisha Yu, and always she did these always as a warm up to doing Tai Chi, because there's so many one-legged postures in Tai Chi. So I don't know that these are actually in a lineage of Qigong. I mean, as they are. I mean, certainly, holding one-legged postures is. So if you like hold golden pheasant, this is a Tai Chi position. So the one-legged is incorporated into many of the movements and postures. But Trisha found this to be so important for people to have balance that she did this for every Tai Chi class. And again, I think, the more you do this, the better balance you'll have. But even just once a week, I think is very beneficial for keeping our balance. We live in a state with the most falls. And I think it's two things. I think it's winter and ice, and the amount of alcohol people in this state drink. But it does have to do with balance. Okay, so with Qigong, Qigong, actually Don pronounces it Qigong. We want to engage the imagination and the sense of touch. So when we're standing in position one, we're aware not only of the alignment of the body, but of the connection down into the earth as if we had roots. So we can imagine having roots, and then we can, with the out breath, projecting our attention down the body and out the bottoms of the feet, we can feel what it would be like to have roots. We can project our feeling. This is something we can all do. So let me just give you a brief example. So if you're standing in a room, you can look at an object and imagine reaching out and feeling it. What would that object feel like? What would it feel like to touch it or hold it? So we can definitely imagine how it would feel to be in physical contact with something. And so we're just doing that with the earth. We're imagining, projecting our sense of touch down into the earth. And we can do that. So we're not just imagining it in the mind, we're also projecting how that would feel. In the same way, we can project how it would feel to touch something in our environment, which we can do. Okay. And then the in-breath, bringing the attention up into the belly, the lower dantian, and bringing it up further. And for this, we're looking inward and putting our attention inside the body and feeling that dantian, feeling into that place. Just putting our awareness into the middle of the chest. And there will be a correlate sensation in that place. So the body responds to our attention. Okay. And then moving our attention up and up the throat and into the brain. Bring our attention in the brain. Okay. And now going up out the head and now extending, like we did with the roots, extending our sense of touch way, way up as if we had branches, way up into the air, way up past the sky, way up into the universe. And so our eyes are kind of looking up. Okay. Okay, good. And so now we can bring our attention down that column from way up there, down into the brain, the chest, the belly, down into the earth. This is all our spectrum of awareness, our personal spectrum. Okay. Now, so dipping the knees, and then if we place the hands on the lower dantian, if you kind of put the thumbs at the navel, and then you can form sort of this triangle, or you can let's see, Don taught at the retreat to put your palms one over the other and place them, the Laogong points, over the lower dantian. That's fine too, whatever works for you. And we can feel the presence of our hands on each other and on the body. And we can project the feeling into the belly, feeling in the belly. We can do that. We have nerve endings. Okay, good. And dipping the knees, and so bringing the hands up to the chest area. Now you can place them on the body or in front of the body. Any of these are fine. And again, bringing the attention into the middle of the body. So you can feel the outside palm, the inside palm, and the body, and then inside the body. Okay, and that'll resonate. And then that place is up vertically straight up from the one in the belly. Okay. So if you drop one hand to the belly and the other on the chest. So the correlates for these are in the body and they're lined up just like the hands are. Okay. Now with the upper one, with the in-breath, that activates that chest center. The out-breath, the feeling of it actually goes out into the environment. So this upper one, this is where the body is relating with the environment through the breath. And the lower one, this is the place where the energy in the body is felt. It's this is the storehouse of the energy in the body. Okay, so if we breathe in from the top of the head, breathe in down through the crown of the head into the heart. And when we breathe out, we breathe that down into the belly. And then repeat. If you do this a few times, if you do it for a few days, you will definitely feel those places become activated. The crown of the head, the chest, and then particularly in the lower abdomen. So this is bringing in qi and storing it down below. Now, interestingly, so the monastics, this was one technique the monastics used to deal with sexual energy when it came up, if they were celibate. So they would feel this sensation down in the genitals or down in below the belly. They'd feel this, and then they would move it up. So they'd sense it. And then with the in-breath, they'd move it straight up the body, through the heart and through the brain, and up into the universe with the in-breath. And with the out-breath, they'd go back down. And this would raise the qi, the sexual qi, and bring it up into the universe. And so it would dissipate. So they consider sexual energy to be like earth energy. So it's heavy and solid, and you bring it up and then you dissipate it. So this is one of the techniques that was taught for that. Very effective, actually. And of course, you can go the other way and bring it down and activate too. That works too. But so this is Qigong. I mean, so this is using the attention, the felt sense of the body and the breath to move energy and attention within the body. Okay, very good. Let's go ahead and break our stance. Now let's see how this works with movement. So if we're in standing one, and we're aligned. Well, let's do tree and spring. So in breath, so we're pointing down, then we're pointing to the body. And then as we come up, we're moving our attention up where the fingers are pointing. You can do this very slowly if you want to. And it's activating all these centers and then expressing out and up, 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 and then out all around in all directions. And then sitting down. And then we're pointing, so then we're down in the roots. Move slowly. Move the attention up the inside of the body, through the throat. Way up, way up, way up. And so if you do this quickly, it just sort of shoots up and out like a geyser, and then comes back down like a fountain. And so if you do this more quickly, it's very energizing. And if you do it slowly, you can intensify the sensations and the awareness of the body. Okay, very good. And let's see what happens now when we do tree in autumn. It's just doing the same thing, the opposite. So we're way, way up, and now we're bringing down. And right down through the body, and then down the legs, and down into the earth. And so repeating. So this tree and spring is energizing, and this is calming. Good. So this is Qigong, and it's Neigong, because when we're bringing the attention of the movement into the body, we're just magnifying the effect of the movement. And the body just becomes a vessel, like a tree, for this earth energy and this sort of cosmic energy. The body just receives it and becomes activated by it. Okay, let's do one more. Okay, good, good, good. So why is this beneficial? Well, it's the Chinese, the ancients have said it's very beneficial for all the organs and joints, for the physical body. It's very beneficial for the psychic body, for the emotions, to allow emotions to pass through, whether down or up, but to allow emotions, mind states, thoughts, and so on, to move through the system, to move through the system. Then the system is not so stuck. It's not so identified with what we're thinking, feeling, what emotion is present in the moment. We're aware of it. We're not as identified with it as this is what is. This is here now, and it's all moving. It's all moving. It's moving through. Okay. And we don't just imagine that it's moving through because the emotions are in the body. We feel that it's moving through. It just moves right through. So if you find yourself emotionally stuck or mentally stuck, if you do these moving practices, and then with the Qigong, it will help to move these things that seem so solid. It'll move them through. Okay, so it's not that we don't feel our emotions or we don't experience things. It's just that we're not stuck in them. Okay, and we might not even know what it is, but just do Sri and Autumn, but just by doing this, okay, and this can get quite spiritual. So it goes into Shengong, which is spiritual Qigong, because the more we become identified with the energy, with the movement, with the impermanence, and less identified with the solid, the body, the thoughts, the emotions, less identified with that, the the closer we are to this sort of boundless self, if that makes sense, rather than the bounded self. Okay, let's go ahead and take a seat. I do just want to mention, if you do feel, if you feel stuck, if you feel caught in an emotion, um, and and you're suffering, um, you may not think to do this, um, but maybe eventually you will. And if you do these practices, they will contribute to the healing. It may not instantly happen, but it will at least contribute to the feeling, to the solidity and the openness. So very useful. Okay. We'll just do a little experiment with the breath. Need these. And so we with the in breath, we'll feel the lungs expand, the chest expand, and we'll imagine this energy just coming right into the chest from outside, just what it is. But so we'll just feel that filling up the lungs, not just with air, but with something like light or luminous mist, or loving, like wind or something, however you want to see it, but filling up the chest with something vital with the in breath. Then with the out breath, breathe it down into the lower dantian. So breathe it in, fill up the lungs, and then breathe it down. Okay, now you'll feel something down there. So this breath practice is gathering chi. So if your body wants more energy, this will feel good. Bring it down, and it kind of swirls into the belly. So this is gathering chi. And do this as long as it feels good. You're just bringing in vital energy with the air and then storing it down in your personal vital center. And at a certain point, you'll sort of feel that it's full. It's like you when you eat food, and it's full. It's full enough. When you reach that point, then the attention changes. And then we focus on the belly. And with the in-breath, we bring that energy up the inside of the spine to the chest, light up the chest, and then down the inside front of the body back into the lower dantian. So we're just creating this cycle, and we're circulating that stored energy when we're moving it with our attention. You can use your eyes. So we're moving that energy within the body. We're moving our attention within the body. And when we put our attention on the body, it automatically heals and balances it. And the body just sort of runs by itself. And when we add our consciousness, it it sort of lights it up more, it supercharges it more, and it becomes more alive. And you may notice what effect this has on thinking. So when we're doing these practices, thinking doesn't happen. The mind and the body are one. This is just like if you have a little 4-year-old and they're swinging on their swing a little bit, and you come up and you start pushing the swing a little more, then they smile and they laugh and they like that because they're getting your attention. They can swing alone, but when you're there, it's just much more fun. It's more energetic. And then, like all these practices, eventually just soften it, let it soften, and stop trying, and just sense the tingling and the warmth and the movement within the body with the breath. Okay. And then let your awareness go beyond the body so that the body is in a whole field of light. So the light is within the body and around the body. So you can sort of see the body surrounded by this energy, and you can at the same time be the body that's surrounded by this energy. You could take the point of view of the body or the point of view of the energy. Okay. And the energy is boundless. It's concentrated in the body, and it's also boundless. Okay, so now you're identified with the energy more than with the physical body. Okay, the whole body is tingling and warm and alive, and this energy is much bigger. And let the breath become long, slow, even, and fine. And let the mind become tranquil. And this extended energy around the body, this is what the Buddhists call the deathless, because it's not subject to birth and death. It can take all forms. Okay, the Buddha also called this the breath body. Okay, and the Buddha didn't teach everything that the Buddha experienced or knew. This is the breath body. The esoteric teachings are there are 7 bodies, like those nesting dolls or nesting baskets. There's 7, becoming increasingly finer. So that gets way into Qigong. Okay. And so you can direct the attention to this very, very, very big space, and right into this body, into anywhere. It's all consciousness. So it's all part of the meditation. Okay. If there's pain or stiffness, you can direct this to that area and breathe through it. If there's a little pain or stiffness, just focus on that and breathe this combination of light and warmth and attention. Breathe that through that area. And there will be a physical correlate for that. And smile just a little. So this is a place you can take refuge. If you're sick, if you have pain in the body, if you have pain in the heart or the mind, this is you can take refuge in this place where there's this expanded awareness. Okay, very good. Let's take a few more breaths. Okay. And then just slowly come out of it. And the body can become stiff from sitting. Okay. Okay, very good. So let's do our closing. 1, 2, 3. Make heat. There are a lot of self-massage practices in Qigong, which we haven't really gotten into much, but these are some of them. Um, the palms, the heels of the palms and the eye sockets. Try not to touch the eyeballs. Just massage the orbit around the eyes. Okay, good. And then the temples, you can kind of press a little. You can press a little on the temples. And then the upper jaw, a lot of tension can be here. Just feel we have very strong jaw muscles. Okay. And Chunyi Lin says you should tug on the ears because there are acupuncture points in the ears, which I don't know about, but that's what that teaching is about. So, and then uh, sort of massaging the scalp a little with the fingernails. I think these things just relax us. And there's if you pinch the bridge of the nose and put pressure, that's some kind of an acupressure point there too. It relieves the sinuses, I guess. And if you can feel between the eyebrows, there's sort of the third eye, right in the middle of the forehead. You can massage that too. Okay. And then just sort of smoothing down. And all teachers say that you should tap the kidneys at the end. And then massage the kidneys with the backs of your hands. Okay. Very good. Well, thank you for your presence. Thank you for your practice. It means a lot to me that you come to join virtually and do this. Thank you. May our practice benefit all beings. And if you'd like to stay, that's fine. And if you'd like to leave, that's fine.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Steve.
Okay. Okay.